Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. Great to be with you tonight. It is a Friday evening, and we still got a little bit of time left before we turn into May 4th. So it's May 3rd, 2024. Welcome, everyone. Whether you're here at 10:27 p.m., 10:27 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., or maybe even 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., it makes no difference to me. Thank you so much, very much, for being here, watching Inspirations for Your Life. Check out my great content like believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations that if you do truly listen to them and you make a practice of it, it will actually improve the quality of your life, and that is a promise. But you have to be dedicated to want to make a change. Change doesn't just happen because you expect it. You have to do something, right? You have to believe in the change. All right, let's get started, everyone. So we all know what the master topic of the week is, but in case you don't know, Dynamics of Muscle Memory, Series 3, Show 18. But what is today's last granular topic? We've had 6 days. This is the 7th day. You know how we do this by now. We start on a Saturday. We roll all the way through the week, and we finish up on a Friday. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Decoding the Secrets of Muscle Memory, Series 3, which means we're in the 3rd year. Show 18, Episode 7. Wow, decoding. What does that really mean, decoding? Well, a very wise person a long time ago had come up with that. But according to Merriam-Webster, because I want to give you the formal definition, is basically to convert something, okay? To convert into an intelligible form. Like, for example, maybe when you were younger, you might have had a specific language between you and your friends or partners, etc., and you didn't want anybody else to read it, so you had this special key that you had to basically decipher the letters, and it was like a code, and then you would kind of like go back, and then you were able to write up what it was, and then you knew what the person was saying. So it's like a word kind of coding system where it would use numbers, letters, and then each one would transfer it into a letter, and then that letter would later on represent a word. So, for example, if I was to spell the word decode, I might use a certain row down, so many across, okay, so many up, and that would mean the letter D. But just giving you an idea, that's a very simple code, right? To discover the underlining meaning is to decipher, and that's really what I'm talking about here tonight, is to decipher, right? To decode the secrets of muscle memory. Now, we've talked a lot about muscle memory, right? Muscle memory starts out with a very interesting plan. In case you guys didn't know what this plan is, I'm going to share it with you. We've been sharing it every night, but I want to make sure you guys understand this because I think this is very, very key to being successful with this. First thing is, muscle memory starts out with a thought, okay? A thought of what you want to achieve. Now that you got that thought, you're going to figure out what muscles or movements you need to make to create that. For example, let's say that you wanted to, you wanted to run a race. So what muscles have to get engaged to run? Well, there's quite a bit. You have your legs, your thigh. I mean, there's so much. But if we were to go through, what are all the muscles, okay, that we engage when we run? What are they? Well, there's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. There are a lot. There are 7 muscle groups that we actually activate when we run. And so one is the hip flexors. These are the 3 key muscles that make up the hip flexor. And they're located in the front of the hip, okay? They push off as they flex and extend. That's very important. Second is the glutes, the gluteus maximus, the buttocks, right? Plays a key role in the stance phase. Strong glutes propel your body forward, extending the hip as you bring your leg behind you. Glutes are really important in running. The glutes act as an anchor for your pelvis to stabilize movement during the float phase when you're up and you're down, right? So that's really important. If you have weak glutes, well, running is going to be a challenge for you, okay? Then we have the quadriceps. They're a group of 4 muscles that comprise the frontal thigh muscle. And if you ever run uphill before, oh boy, you're going to pay for this. You're bound to have felt that firing up of your quads. You're like, oh, please let it stop, let it stop, let it stop, right? The quadriceps play a key role in runner's stride. The quads will bend the hip and extend the knee, stabilizing and absorbing the impact as you land, hopefully, each time. The fourth group is the hamstrings. They're located in the back of the thighs. The hamstring are two joint muscles that extend the hip and control the leg. Okay? They're responsible for force production in the push-off phase. And so it's pretty important that we know how to use those properly. We have the calf muscles. So shin splints account for approximately 50% of all running injuries. I'm not sure if you knew this, but the condition known formally as medial tibial stress syndrome is the common among runners due to activation of the calf muscles and shins during running. So calf muscles play a huge role and have a variety of essential functions during running. So you need to understand that you lift the heels up off the ground during the swing phase. We shift our body weight onto your toes to propel you forward once again. So understanding this might seem a little crazy, but this is the truth. You know, we talked about things like what the calf muscles are for, like jumping rope, calf raises, soleus squats, right? Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, but we can't wait, actually, there's two more. The abdominal muscles. The muscles in your abdomen connect the upper and lower body together. And while you run, they are activating, keeping you upright and stable. This is really, 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 really important for you. Sprinters experience more abdominal activation. It's just kind of how they're wired and what they're doing. But so it's important that we understand these things, right? So the abdominal muscles transverse the abdomen and the obliques, and they act as the foundation for the upper body to counteract and keep us in our stable position. I mean, that is the most important thing that I can tell you. If you don't understand that, then you might be saying, gee, John, I don't know really how to do that. And it's not that you don't know how to do it. It's that you might be confused, okay? And the reason you're confused is one reason, like you haven't done it before, right? So whenever we haven't done something in our life, we always say that that's hard, but things that we've done are easy. So if we get comfortable being uncomfortable, guess what? Everything's going to seem easy for us. This is why so many people are just sitting on the couch, eating popcorn, watching TV, and they're not doing anything with their body. They're not doing anything with their mind. They're becoming a, quote, couch potato. The last group is the upper body muscles. So they predominantly work the muscles in your lower body, and some upper body strength is required for running. So your arms help drive you forward, building momentum, particularly that latissimus dorsi, the shoulders, and the deltoids right in the back. And when you have strong back and strong shoulders, you can enhance your running economy. That's a really cool thing. A collapsed chest limits breathing capacity, which reduces the amount of oxygen and nutrient. So it's important that we have a very good chest and that air is in there. That is very, very important for us. You might be saying to me, John, you know, this sounds crazy, but this is the start. We have to know how this works. So this is a little bit about muscle memory. But now that we have what we're doing, right, the next thing we want to do, and now that we know about the muscles in running, so now that we know what it is, we know how to get them activated, we still might need to practice over and over. So we want to visualize. We want to visualize what the run's going to be like, how our body's going to be moving, and we're going to keep doing that. And as we run, we might be making adjustments, right? Our brain will be making adjustments, but we keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. You get the idea, right? So when we keep running, we get better, and better. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. So when we think about our muscle memory, it's used in a wide variety of applications. Sports like tennis, serving the tennis ball, basketball, doing the free throws, swimmers, being on point when they dive. I mean, their body, they don't think about how to dive. They just do it, okay, because they've done it so many million times. Another one is runners. Runners don't think about how to make the body run. They run and it just happens. Okay. What's another sport? Golf. I'd love to play golf. So when you take your hands and you handshake the club, whether you're doing the, the interlocking grip or the other hands over grip, your fingers just know where to go because they just know you've done it so many times. But we'll talk a little more about that. So if we talk about baseball brilliance, when there's a pitcher, right, and the pitcher's learning to pitch, they have to condition their hand, how to move it, how to throw it. There's lots of muscles that have to be in the right place at the right time, or guess what? You don't throw a very competitive baseball. What happens is you either throw a very crappy ball, or you might throw a good ball, but then you might wind up getting injured. So there's these things to think about and consider when we're talking about muscle memory. So when we think about the Olympics, like Olympic Insights, just about everybody in the Olympics use muscle memory. Did you know that? Yes. Every Olympian uses muscle memory. Now you might say, John, that's crazy. Well, so scientists have studied this for a while, and you can train and train and train. So you must train, basically if you're doing like lifts or things like that, they're saying you must train in the 6 to 12 rep range to build muscle. Now, we're not talking about building muscle. We're talking about building an intelligent muscle. So that's muscle memory. And so we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that whether we're swinging the bat, I mean, you have to have muscle memory how to swing the bat. I mean, you don't want to think about how to swing the bat, but after you've swung it so many times, you're like, oh, I get it. Or I know how to pitch. I know where to put my feet. I just know everything. I've done it so many times. And your brain can even adjust for it. But you do it without thinking. You've done it so many different times. So again, what's the process? Let's review this. First thing is, you know what you want. You've got to focus and you got to practice every single day. That means you don't take off. You don't take off on Saturdays. You don't take off on Sundays. You practice every single day of your life. Okay, you practice that. Repetition and improvement. We always said that the mother of learning is repetition. As we repeat, our brain says, wait a minute, I can make this better. Now, thinking about the neuroscience of muscles is really pretty cool. So we have the myelin basically in our muscles, but the storage of the muscles or the motor control is not actually stored in the muscle. It's actually stored in our brain, okay? And so this is what confuses a lot of people. Like, how can the muscle be stored in the brain? It is, ladies and gentlemen, I got news for you. It is stored in the brain. Yes, it's stored in the brain. And so that might confuse a lot of people, but what we're doing is we're transferring let's say the motor coordination that we're doing. It's stored in the premotor cortex of the brain. And so as that happens, the brain can experience challenges. It can adapt to things. Think of the brain in this sense very similar to the way, maybe you've seen robots, or you've seen things where something starts, but it's not exactly efficient. The sensors kind of get in line. Well, the sensors are things like your proprioception, which we talked about before, which is just a fancy word that means, like, if I close my eyes, my body knows that my right hand is up above my head. If I did this, my body knows my left hand. If I turn my head like this, my body knows what position that any part of my body is in a given moment. That's called proprioception. With that and our motor cortex, we are able to use this data, okay, central data, and report back to, are we actually acting in the right manner? If we're doing a jump rope, am I at the right spot? Is the body in the right place? If I'm running, am I really on track, or am I behind? Like how am I doing? And so it's kind of like a way to check in on yourself. All right. So that is a little about the neuroscience nugget. And so when we have these challenges, which they're going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get challenges, okay? When we get challenges, we will get growth. Let me say this again. Anytime we get challenges, even though they're not going to be comfortable challenges, they're going to be growth. They're going to be growth. And the reason they're going to be growth is, I always say to you, we've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. We've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And if we're comfortable being uncomfortable, then I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you will just do things on autopilot. So autopilot is when our brain and body are able to do things almost without thinking. Almost without thinking. I mean, I think that's like the bee's knees. I mean, I think that's like the top of the world, ladies and gentlemen, that we can do all that stuff without thinking. That's like, I don't know about you, but that's like pretty impressive to me. So I want to let you know that it's important that we understand how our body works, how our memory works, especially our muscle memory, because see, our muscle memory, ladies and gentlemen, is really key to helping us become more successful. Now, the reason we're not successful is that we're not doing the right thing, okay? We're getting hung up on the process. We're not enjoying it. You know, we're being too critical. Does that mean we shouldn't be perfect at it? No, you will get better at something the more you do it. But let's just not expect the whole kitchen. Let's not expect the whole house to be built in an hour, okay, or in a day. Let's give it the time it needs so it can adjust, so we can get data from the different senses that we have in our body. These are different sensors. What happens when a door goes a certain way? Well, something pretty happened, right? It makes an adjustment to what's actually going to happen. Okay. I think it's important to understand that people don't quite get why things are a certain way. And I think it's about challenges. Okay. I think it's about challenges. And I think the challenges we have are pretty amazing. Okay. Now, amazing in the sense that they are able to do what we need to do. But are they the right thing? Or are they the wrong thing? I don't know. I think a lot of people out here don't quite get it. I think a lot of people don't understand why something works a certain way or why something works a different way. I don't know. I think we just have to be cognizant of that and know that things are a problem for some people. What does it mean to you? I think people have to realize that it's something we really can do every single day. But if we understand what happens, then we have a lot of potential. We have a lot of power. All right? We have a lot of power, but we have to harness that power. Once we do, then we're able to become better versions of ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Remember, when we do these things, we execute automating excellence. That doesn't happen automatically, but it does with practice and constant tweaking of our motor coordination with our brain. Because remember, everything is stored up in the brain, and it makes the adjustments. It's not the muscle that has the memory. I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll catch you guys real soon, all right? And remember, if you choose to make the choice to learn about muscle memory, you'll be successful a lot faster than many other people will. Have yourself an amazing rest of your night, and I'll catch you tomorrow with a brand new master topic.